In this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 most dangerous states in the USA. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for future updates. FBI records show a 30% spike in murder rates, the highest one-year increase since the 1960s, as violent crime rates in the US have skyrocketed since 2019. However, other violent crimes like rape and crimes against property declined over the same time span. The worldwide coronavirus epidemic, which resulted in controversial stay-at-home orders and widespread economic concern in 2020, made it a remarkable year. The United States maintained its ranking as the 121st most peaceful nation in the world among 163 nations in the Global Peace Index published by the Institute for Economics and EMP, Peace. The 10 most hazardous states in the U.S. are shown below, taking into account violent crime statistics such as murder, assault, rape, and other major crimes. Number 10. Michigan. The 10th highest rate of violent crimes in the U.S. is found in Michigan. The most violent and serious crimes are concentrated in the most populated areas of Michigan, as they are in many other states. The state has fewer than 500 violent crimes per 100,000 residents, whereas Detroit, the state's largest city, has 1,088 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. 40% of the violent crimes in the state were committed in the Detroit metro region in 2020. 2020 saw 328 homicides in Detroit, up 17% from the previous year and the first time it exceeded 300 since 2016. Statewide rates of violent crime have increased by 9.3% in the last year. The majority of violent crime rates in the state have decreased since 2009, nevertheless. Robberies cases have decreased by 50%, from 11522 to 5350, while violent crimes have decreased from 49,000 to 43,000. Burglaries have decreased as well, from 74,345 in 2010 to 28,572 in 2019. The rape category stands out as having experienced an increase from 4,733 to 7,235 instances. Number 9. Arizona. The Grand Canyon state had a 40.5% increase in homicide rates, resulting in 513 reported murders in 2020 and a total of 485 violent crimes per 100,000 residents, which is not as great of an increase as Michigan, which is ranked 10th. The Grand Canyon is the state's most famous landmark, but it ranks as the 7th most dangerous in the Union. The former mining town of Globe is among the places that are regarded as being the most hazardous or violent. Residents are particularly prone to property crimes, with 7,380 such crimes reported per 100,000 people, in addition to seeing 2,141 violent crimes per 100,000 people, the highest rate of violent crimes of any city in the state. However, Tolleson outpaces Globe in terms of property offenses. 1 in 11 locals experience property crime. Phoenix, the largest city in the state, has 849 violent crime occurrences per 100,000 residents, including 120 homicides, 660 rapes, 240 robberies, and 5,670 assaults. Number 8. South Dakota. South Dakota, one of the U.S. states with the lowest population, is also one of the most dangerous, with 501 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. Only 7 states have greater violent crime rates, and the region that is home to Mount Rushmore saw a rise in violent crimes of more than 25% in 2020. Due to a staggering 135% spike in homicides, this is the second highest increase of any state. 2019 saw 17 recorded homicides, while 2020 saw 40. Aggravated assault made about 80% of all violent crimes in South Dakota and was the most frequent type of offense. By population, Sioux Falls is the biggest city in South Dakota and also has one of the worst crime rates. 555 aggravated assaults, 5 murders, and 121 rapes were reported in the city. In addition, 5,288 property crimes were committed there during the year. The worst rates in the state are seen in Mitchell, a city with just over 15,000 inhabitants. According to FBI records, 81 violent crimes and 573 property crimes were reported in 2018. Number 7. South Carolina. Despite having a high rate of violent crime events, 531 per 100,000 residents, South Carolina only experienced a slight rise of 3.8% from 2019 to 2020. However, this also contained 10.5 murders per 100,000 people, the fifth highest rate of any state. There have been 549 documented murders, which is more than in several states with significantly greater populations. With 1,200 violent offenses per 100,000 residents, Spartanburg is regarded as the most dangerous city when it comes to specific locations. North Charleston, the third most populated city in South Carolina with 114,852 people, attracts 960 violent offenses for every 100,000 residents, even though Charleston itself does not rank among the state's most hazardous cities. Number 6. Missouri. The fact that Missouri is the sixth most hazardous state in the U.S. is partially due to the presence of several large cities there. With little over 6 million residents, it had 723 homicides and a violent crime rate of 543 per 100,000 inhabitants in 2020. This amounts to a huge increase of 9.6% from the previous year. The third largest of the big cities, Springfield, is the most dangerous. Of all Missouri cities, it has the second highest rates of both violent crimes and property crimes. St. Louis has the highest murder rate in the state and approximately 6,000 violent offenses in total. The largest city is Kansas City, which has a population of around 500,000 and a 1 in 69 probability of experiencing violent crime. But compared to other cities in the state, Kansas City has the lowest rate of property crime. Number 5. Louisiana. Louisiana has the greatest ratio of homicides per 100,000 people, making it the state with the fifth highest rate of violent crime overall. In actuality, there were 734 homicides in 2000, or around 16 murders per 100,000 inhabitants. Nevertheless, it is important to remember that despite having a population of fewer than 5 million, Louisiana often attracts more than 50 million tourists each year. More than double the increase experienced by the nation, the state's violent crime rate increased by more than 16%. While receiving so many visitors is not unusual, Louisiana does increase the numbers more than some other states with huge populations. The state's most popular tourist destination is New Orleans, which has 1,144 violent crime incidences per 100,000 residents. It is surprising that New Orleans does not frequently appear on lists of the state's 10 most dangerous cities, given that more than 1 million people visit the city during Fat Tuesday celebrations. Hammond, Opelousas, and Alexandria are three of the most hazardous cities in Louisiana. Number 4. Arkansas. Despite having a population of under 3 million, Arkansas is ranked as the fourth most dangerous state. With 321 killings, it has a greater murder rate than some of the states with substantially larger populations, and violent events, 80% of which are aggravated assaults, have increased by 14.9%. The state capital and busiest city is Little Rock. Although there have been 939 violent crimes reported per 100,000 people, Pine Bluff, where the rate is above 1,000 per 100,000 people, is the state's most dangerous city. Number 3. Tennessee. Tennessee citizens faced 673 violent crimes for every 100,000 people, ranking it as the third most hazardous state despite a 13% increase in violent crime. It is the most hazardous state in the South, and Memphis' violent crime rate of 1359 per 100,000 people is the reason for the high ranking. Although it is disputed with Anchorage in Alaska, this metro area has the highest crime rate of any metro area in the nation as well as the greatest crime rate of any city in Tennessee. Even the safest cities in the state, such Church Hill, Signal Mountain, and Mount Carmel, cannot bring the figures back down. According to FBI data, there was a 1 in 90 probability that you would become a victim of a violent crime in Memphis, as well as a 1 in 25 chance for a property crime, a 1 in 240 chance for a vehicle theft, and a 1 in 5722 chance for a homicide. Number 2. New Mexico. Although it ranks second on this list, New Mexico is one of just 2 states that has witnessed a yearly decline in violent crime, and it has experienced the biggest improvement among the 10 states, with a 6.5% decrease in recorded crimes. But despite a sharp decline in violent crimes, there are still 778 violent occurrences reported per 100,000 people. Additionally, the state has greater rates of parcel theft than the entire U.S., as well as high rates of vehicle and property theft. The biggest and riskiest city in the state is Memphis. For every 100,000 inhabitants in this area, there are 1,107 violent crimes. The safest New Mexico cities are Milan, Corrales, and Raton. Number 1. Alaska. Alaska is the most dangerous state to live in despite having one of the lowest population densities. It has 838 violent crimes per 100,000 residents, which is 360 more violent crimes than Michigan in 10th position and 55 more violent crimes than its next closest competition, New Mexico. Alaska is one of just 14 states that had a fall in violent crime in 2020, despite its high rates of crime. Nevertheless, its 3.4% drop is not as large as that of New Mexico's own decline. The violent crime rate in the state is more than twice as high as the national average of 398.5. The majority of serious crimes take place in large cities, with Anchorage reporting 1,171 violent offenses. Although it is home to just over 40% of the state's population, the Anchorage metropolitan area actually sees close to 60% of all violent crimes that are ever reported. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comment box below. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Thank you.